Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar on building your brand through LinkedIn. My name is Bethany Hartley, as you can see there, and I am Marketing Assistant at the Women's Business Development Center here in Chicago. So today we're going to cover a few things in this webinar, similar format to what we've been doing the past 2 or 3 weeks. First, we're going to look at how to create a profile on LinkedIn and how to create it optimally for your brand. And the second, we're going to look at where to find relevant leads. And third, how to utilize groups in LinkedIn. So before we get started, though, we're going to do a little webinar housekeeping. The first one is, if you can't hear me, raise your hand, and our tech person will send you a PIN number to help you out a little bit. You all are you're muted right now, and we will do the question and answers at the end of the presentation. I am happy to have you speak your questions or type them in, and I will share them with the group. If you want to reference a specific slide, go ahead and look at the bottom right-hand corner of your window, and that is where the slide number is, so take note of that. And throughout the presentation, please go ahead and take notes. I will be sending out a survey later today with, and once you complete the survey, you'll get a link to the PDF of this presentation, so you can have this for reference, as well as a copy of the presentation to take a look at or listen to once again. So let's go ahead and get started here. First, I want to start with a poll question. Very simple. Are you on LinkedIn? So I'm going to go ahead and launch that right now, and this is either personally or professionally. That's up to you. If you're on LinkedIn as using it as a business page, or if you're using it as a personal page. So I'm going to take a few minutes here or not a few minutes, few seconds to let people answer, and then I'll go ahead and share those results with you. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close the poll, and then I'll share this with you. So as you can see, everyone seems to be on LinkedIn, which is great, because that'll definitely help out as we go through the presentation, so you all have a little bit of an idea of what it looks like, what the layout is of the social media platform that is LinkedIn. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that, and we'll continue on with the presentation. So first, we're going to look at the latest profile updates on LinkedIn and what's been going on. I don't know if you've noticed or if you've been on, a lot has changed on LinkedIn. It looks like a totally different social media website now, which is great for them, definitely. So the things we're going to look at first are skills endorsements, and then we'll take a look at updating Twitter via LinkedIn. They changed it where you can update Twitter through LinkedIn, but you can't update LinkedIn through Twitter. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and then as well as signals and notifications. So let's look at the first thing here, which is skills endorsements. So this is kind of the part on your profile that you'll see. I pulled this directly from my profile. If you scroll down past your previous work and that sort of thing, these skills and expertise, they pull these from your profile. So these are already generated and you already put them in somewhere, but now they can be endorsed. As you can see, I've had one endorsement for social media marketing. You can change what these look like. You can change what's up at the top simply by going into your settings and by editing your profile, which I can show you where to do that at as well. So you want to make sure that these are skills and expertise that really are relevant to you as a brand and as what you do. Because really LinkedIn is for B2B, so if you're a service or you have a product and you want to work with other people, you want to show these and have these prominent, what you think people would really be looking to you for. So if these aren't relevant, you go in, you edit them under your profile, and you change them so that they're easier for people to find you with and easier for people to endorse you with. And when it comes to endorsements, I did not solicit this endorsement that is showing there. This gentleman just did this for me. But there is an option to ask for endorsements and ask for referrals, which are always good because, as we'll talk about later, having social collateral is huge. So I highly recommend, if there are people that you've worked with, go through and endorse them, and it's simply clicking. You don't have to write anything for an endorsement. That's a recommendation, is when you write in something. So it's simply just clicking that, and that number will continue to rise up, which is great, because when you're looking for someone to do work for you or vice versa, it's good to be able to look at that and say, okay, all these other people have said that they're good at what they're doing for that type of thing. So I highly recommend trying to work on asking people to do that, and like I said, we'll go through and look at that a little bit more. Something else that is new is the updating the Twitter via LinkedIn. So this is what your profile looks like, or what my profile looks like, and I have linked 2 different profiles. I've linked my personal as well as the WBDC's Twitter's accounts to my LinkedIn, and if you check that box right there next to the bird, then that update will go to Twitter as well. The nice thing about not having the other way around is that it makes it difficult. I don't know if you noticed when Twitter was linked, where when they updated on Twitter, it updated on LinkedIn. It just gets very cluttered, and some things just aren't relevant to be on LinkedIn. So this seems to be working a little bit better. People seem to be happy with it. So just keep that in mind, though, when you do update on your Twitter, and maybe you previously had that setting set up, that you don't, that setting's no longer there. So you have to go through and update through LinkedIn to update your Twitter as well if you want that same message going through. So then we're also going to look at the signals and notifications. So this is up at the top when you're looking at your profile. It's a drop-down that says notifications. So this just tells me a few different things. It tells me that I added a connection, Janice Bond, that I added a couple of connections. And then the reason you'll see here, let me grab my little arrow here, you'll see here and here and here that people viewed my profile. And because I have my settings set up so that when I view other people's profiles, they don't know it, I can't know it either when people view mine, like who they are specifically. And we'll look into settings a little bit more later. So if I had it set up where I wanted people to know I was looking at their profile, then I would be able to know who these 2 or 3 LinkedIn members are. So that's just something to keep in mind when it comes to that. And the signals and notifications are clearly very similar to notifications on Facebook as well. So it just kind of gives you an update of what's going on with your connections and who you're connected with now. So that's just a little brief overview of the updates on LinkedIn. So now we're going to look at building a successful personal profile on LinkedIn, because yes, you are doing this for your business, but your business is you as well, which is where LinkedIn really works well for B2Bs. And I strongly recommend, if you're a B2B, to do this, because it's a professional portfolio of who you are and who your business is. So let's go ahead and take a look at settings first and foremost. So when you're updating your profile, and this is simply you go to your settings under your name and you click on settings. I turn off this option so people don't see every 5 seconds I'm updating something. So I unclick this, let people know when you change your profile, make recommendations, or follow companies, just while I'm updating my profile when I'm doing a bunch of small updates. And then go back in and turn it on so people can see these things, because this is how people connect with you. And then they can see your new profile and that sort of thing. But I find it overwhelming when every 5 minutes you're getting an update from a connection that says, oh, they just updated their bio or something like that. It might not be relevant for them to know every section you've updated. So that's something in settings, and also in settings you can see that you can set up a bunch of different things. You can select to see your activity feed. You can select how private you want your profile to be. And like I said, I have mine set up so when so only people that are in my network and that are connected to someone in my network can see my picture and can see my information. And that's just because at this time I am not looking to do business specifically. You know, for the business I am, for the nonprofit I work for, the WBDC I am, but I'm not contracting myself out to anyone, so that's why I have those privacy. I feel if you are looking to make those business connections, you should try to keep your profile as open as possible, because it definitely helps that when people can see that sort of thing. So we're going to continue on to your headline. So with your headline, helps with your SEO, your search engine optimization. So my headline was Marketing Assistant at Women's Business Development Center. So then I simply changed that to be a little more appealing, to be social media strategist and content creator. So those are more key target words. You can change those without changing your current position, because you see down here it says my current position is still marketing assistant. I didn't become a social media strategist and content creator, because that is not my title here. But it tells more about what I'm about and what I do. So definitely pick a few target keywords that you want in your title, because those will help your search engine optimization when you're going to make those connections and look for people, and when people are looking for you. As well as be as detailed as possible with your previous work. This is your online resume, so definitely keep that in mind when you are setting up your profile and updating your profile. Something else I want to point out is the URL that I have, which is my name, and this also helps when people go to find you. You can edit this. As you see, there's an edit button that says edit, and you can make that a personal URL. So if you're going to put this on business cards or on your signature on your email, it just makes it easier to remember that it's your name. It's pretty basic, and I have the free account, so put whatever you want, and if that is a part of the free account, for sure. Something else I want to point out in editing your profile is your profile picture, which I will send you an article afterwards, after the webinar, talking about profile pictures. Make sure it's on brand. Your profile picture, for instance mine, I'm wearing an orange shirt. Well, our colors are orange and purple. And you want to make sure that people can associate that with your brand. So I wouldn't recommend wearing a badge that has your brand icon or anything like that, but subtle things like colors and backgrounds, and you want to look friendly and inviting. In this article I'll send you guys, it's all about how to do a perfect profile picture, and it discusses the position of your mouth, the position of your face, how you look, and how that determines how people perceive you. So it's definitely important. It's your face to potential clients and potential business partners. So then we're going to continue on to what's in your profile, because your personal profile is your brand. So in your summary, you want to make sure to highlight career highlights. This is a resume, but it's not, because you can really expand on what you want to focus on, as opposed to what, maybe you have to put some required things in a resume. Here, you can be a little more creative and definitely again, use those keywords to talk about what you have been successful in. And then also skills to be endorsed, like we mentioned earlier. Having those endorsable skills will definitely help in your social collateral. And then you can add in applications. There's a tab on your page that says something along the lines of applications. I have the WordPress application in mine, and that shows the WordPress is our blog that we host, and so every time I update the blog for WBDC, it pulls through on my personal profile. So it definitely adds more value to who I am and connects more profiles to who I am. And then, of course, you want to have your education, and that comes in handy when you go to look for groups as well, which we'll talk about, and just highlight what you did in your educational career, because that also is very important. And when you go to find people, it could be something that you both talk about, that you both went to the same school maybe, or something along those lines. So then we're also going to look at editing. Oh, I'm sorry. I think this is the same slide. I apologize. So we're going to look at additional information. You can add in like websites, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Those are all fields in your personal profile. So it's pretty straightforward when you go into edit mode of your personal profile where you can put things. But just make sure you fill it out completely. If you have all these different links that you want to add, put them in there, because that's how people connect you to different things, and it gives them a hub to look at. It's more of your portfolio. So once you have that under wraps and taken care of, then you want to look at, this is an example of where you, I'm sorry, there we go. Okay, so now we're going to work on your business profile on LinkedIn. So the business profiles, if you haven't created one for your business, you want to go to, up at the top here it says companies, and then to the right it says add your company. So this is what the company's main page looks like. I follow a couple companies, so that's what these updates are along in the center there. That's your news feed on LinkedIn for companies. So if you look there, you see that my company page is over to the right. So say you're ready to add your company. So then once we get there, these are the latest updates that have come from LinkedIn for business pages. The first being that they've added where you can add in products and services descriptions on your company page. You can do video advertisements on your company page, and you can do cover photos, which we'll look at these pages as we go, that give a more, it's just a beautiful looking profile for your business. So that's some of the added things that they've put on LinkedIn so far for business pages. So here's an example. This is the WBDC business page. So this, you're looking at the back end of the page. And the first thing to notice is the cover picture. So we personalize this cover picture to match our brand. And again, this is all about branding. So you can see that this image kind of reflects what will be soon on our Facebook cover picture, and it reflects our new rebranding. And then this is our tagline, your growth is our business. So it's very prominent. So when people come to the page, they see that. And then our profile picture is our icon, which you can see down here. So it's all very much branded this way. And then you see up at the top, drive engagement. So this is looking at, this is updating your status on LinkedIn. Something to keep in mind with LinkedIn is it is business professionals looking at your company. So think about what you want them to see. It might be different than what you want them to see on Facebook. For instance, if you're hiring someone, this might be a good way to market to someone you're hiring. And I'll show you a profile after this shortly here that talks about hiring. And you can post jobs for your business on here through careers. Products is where you can do product videos, you can do full descriptions, and people can review your products. So that's what you can find all on this one page. And you also see over here, again, we're under my account under WBDC, so you see who I'm connected to and how many employees are here. So this just gives you an idea, and also, as you'll see on this next slide, okay, so this is the PepsiCo. I am not working for PepsiCo, but you can see how many employees they have, which is really great because it tells me that their employees are engaged online and with PepsiCo. So it's, again, about social collateral. And it gives you a great deal of information. Their cover page is talking about working at PepsiCo. So their mission through LinkedIn is to discuss what you could learn or what PepsiCo can offer you as a career place, as well as let other people know that they are responsible hiring department. So that's kind of what the profiles look like. And then, and it's totally up to you if you want to create a business page. I highly recommend it. Again, if you're doing B2B, this might be where you should be as opposed to being on Facebook, most definitely, because your client is more here. It's someone that's going to purchase from you is here. So then, how do you build relationships with people on LinkedIn? So we're going to look at groups a little bit here. So find groups to join. How do you do this? You find them through people you're connected with on their profiles or in the search bar, which again, I'll show you. We're just going to do an overview real quick. You can search keywords, services that you're interested in, or organizations you're a part of. For instance, marketing is, I searched that, and you find tons of groups. I'm a Loyola alum, so I searched out that and found things about that. There are groups for Loyola alum, and they post events, and I consider going to them every once in a while. And then should you start a group? Well, things to ask yourself, do you have time to start a group? And do you have the content to keep that group going? You know, people say that you should start a group for your business, and it maybe shouldn't be exactly, you know, WBDC business group or something. It could be topics that revolve around what your brand is. But the thing about starting a group is you have to be active in that group all the time. The content is pushed from you, and then you get engagement from others. So if you right now are the only person in your business, maybe you shouldn't have a group because you should be focused on other things. But that doesn't mean you can't be active in other groups. And down the road, you might be able to start a group. Or you might be able to outsource someone starting a group on your behalf. These are all ideas that down the road, when you have the capacity to do it, you should. So here's a few tips about joining groups. You can join as many as 50 groups. That's what LinkedIn allows you to do. And then join a lot, but focus on 2 to 5 quality groups that you are ready to be active in, that you can give insights that other people might not be able to give. And you want to make sure that you start discussions on those groups and maintain them, because you might have an answer that no one else has for something. And it shouldn't be direct selling. It shouldn't feel like you're selling your product when you're trying to give advice. It's very subtle, but it is effective, because the more your name shows up, the better, the more people see it. So here's an example of Cities. One of their groups, they have multiple groups. It's Connect, Professional Women's Network powered by City. So the point of this group is for women to give advice to each other and to really get the word out about how they're doing business. And Citi has branded it. You see over here on the right-hand side, those are all Citibank things. And they customized it, and they have various ideas. I'm not a part of this group. If I was, I'd be able to comment and post. But you see that people start discussions and keep them up. And as I'll show you in the next one here, this is a group I am a part of. This is the WeBank group. And so I could start a discussion about something going on that pertains to women that would be interested in this. You also see, let me get my little arrow here, over to the right-hand side, manager's choice. So this is the benefit of starting a group, is that you can control this manager's choice option. So it doesn't have to always be you, but it could be someone that you work with. You can put them up at that top point, and your eyes are drawn to that instantly. You know, what is this manager's choice? And it must be of some value. So that is the benefit of owning the group, because you have that control, or getting to know who does own it and maybe work out something where your information can be shared up there. And one of the major perks of updating on and keeping discussions going are these latest updates. So if you see, you know, this woman here, this Nancy, I see her picture just in the screenshot alone. I see her picture 3 times. So I know what she's talking about, and I know that she's interested in social and mobile. So she might be a good resource for me if I'm looking for something along those lines. And then there's this discussion about when employees are their own brands. I actually read this article. It was a really great article, and it's not selling her business, but it's showing her as a resource and as an expert in that field. Another really great thing is, as a member of groups, you can see insights about the group. I don't have a screenshot of that, but basically you can see how many people are in the group, where they're located, what their rank is, if they're the CEO, CFO. All of that shows up in the insights, and all that's open to everybody. So it's a really great way to see, before you join the group, maybe take a look at that, or to decide if you should be active in the group, take a look at that to know if this is who you want to be marketing to, if these are people that would actually be interested in what you have to say. And as you can see up at the top right, that this bar here changes. If you're searching for groups, you can click the drop down arrow, and this is where you would search for people, for jobs, pretty much for anything. This is where that search would happen. And this is on every page on LinkedIn. So that's how you find these groups that you're looking for. So then I'm going to switch back here. So those are the group idea. And so now we need to think about how to send connection requests. So I often find that the most success with people connecting, first off, don't cold connect. It's not common for people that you've never met ever, or never talked to on the phone, never emailed, to send an email or a connection request out. It's just very looked down upon, and people oftentimes reject those requests. So if you're going to do that, I don't think it's a bad idea to do it if you personalize the invitation. So you want to make sure to if you're sending it out to someone that you think you could work with, explain why you're sending it out, why you think you would be a good connection for them to have, and see how you guys can work together. which is the possible collaborators, which is why I say be careful, because don't just send the standard, I want to connect, I want to add you to my network that goes with every invitation. Explain why you want to connect to them and how you can help their business with your business. So then the other thing is people you worked with in the past. This adds connections that maybe when they move on to different jobs, they could also keep you in mind for potential collaborations as well. And you know, when you go to a lot of networking events in person, you get a lot of business cards. It's really great when people follow up on those business cards with a LinkedIn invitation, because that keeps them in the back of your mind when people go to ask you for referrals or anything along those lines, because everybody knows somebody. So you want to make sure, like I said, to personalize everything. And I just wanted to show you, oh, this started playing. This kind of explains what your connections look like and how you can use them to collaborate. So this is a short video. This was made by LinkedIn. So I'm going to go ahead and play that. If it doesn't work or it doesn't come out clearly, would you guys please raise your hand and let me know? Or if you can't hear the audio or something like that, let me know, and we'll stop it, and I'll just email you the link for sure. If it plays, let's see. There we go. Okay. So I'll go ahead and email this to you. It seems like a lot of you are having audio issues or video issues. But basically this is showing how the LinkedIn network looks. And it's a really neat way to look at it, because you can email people if you think they would be a great collaboration for someone else. It's a really good way to position yourself as someone who knows people and who can connect people with other people, and a great resource. So maybe you're not doing business with them yet, but you could be, and this just is a value add to them. So I will definitely include a link to this video in the email, and I was going to show another video later, but I will just email that to you as well. That kind of gives you an overview of social media and how much it's exploded in the last couple years. So as we continue, just some things to keep in mind are the the video aspects of LinkedIn, which is perfect because in 2 weeks we're doing a YouTube video and Google Plus webinar. So things to keep in mind with that are you can click these videos, and down at the bottom here you can see where those videos pop up. This is on the business page right here. So they created how to use voices.com, and this video is embedded into their company page, so you see it on their company page, and you can do this for every single product and service if you have the time and the capabilities to do so. So I highly recommend looking into that and looking into how to make those simplistic videos. So that's definitely something that's been added, and people seem to really like it on LinkedIn. So that's something new for LinkedIn. So we're going to go ahead and take some questions here about LinkedIn. I know there's a lot going on it that people want to use more of, so please feel free to either raise your hand or go ahead and type in any questions you might have, and I'll share them with the group. Let's see here. Okay. All right, I see one question. I'm going to butcher your name, so I'm not going to say it. It's K-Y-S-H-I-A. I'm going to unmute you, so go ahead and feel free to ask your question. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, could you hear me?
You have to also unmute yourself on your computer as well so we can hear you.
Hello?
Okay, I don't think her audio is working, so I'm going to mute her back up. If you want to just type in your questions in the question box, that seems to work the best. Go ahead and put that down. So one of the questions that we got is, I'm not a frequent user of LinkedIn. How do I reach out to the LinkedIn community if I'm new to the site? So the best way to do that is to let people know on your different profiles that you just joined LinkedIn, and another thing is that you can import your contacts from Outlook or Google or wherever your email is. You can import contacts and go through and start adding them to your account. So you can, those people you can send invitations and connect to them that way. Also, if you're new, a great way is to, at different events, tell people, I want to connect with you on LinkedIn. I want to learn more about you and your business on LinkedIn. So send that request after you meet them. That's the big thing, and I think the thing that seems to be most successful with businesses and people representing their businesses is actually having them, that in-person initial contact followed by follow-up with being on LinkedIn. So taking the online, offline is huge. Oh, there we go. Okay, so the question is, I set up LinkedIn through one email account, but I received networking requests through a different email. How do I link with those people through my LinkedIn account? So you can import contacts from as many email accounts as you want. So, or you can set up multiple email accounts for your LinkedIn. If you go to your settings, you can do that there. I have, I think, 2 different email addresses associated with my LinkedIn account. So, and also when you go to link with your business page and your personal page, you have to use your business email address. It has to be whatever your business website is. For instance, my email, as you see, is bhartley@wbdc.org. And so our website is wbdc.org. So you have to have that connection there to verify that you own the business page that you say you own. So that's something to keep in mind. That's why I have multiple addresses, because I started out with a Gmail account. So if you just go into your settings, that's how you do it. What else do you guys want to know? I feel like LinkedIn's a really good tool that not a lot of business owners use yet, so I think it's really good to explore a little bit more in searching. Okay, so another question. If you already have a lot of LinkedIn connections, but they may not be in line with your current brand business, should you remove/streamline your connections, or is it better to have more connections? So I feel like if you don't talk to those people or engage with them in any way on LinkedIn, there's really no point. It's the same thing with fans, number of fans on Facebook pages. People sometimes feel like it's better to have thousands of fans that they bought, that sort of thing. If there's no engagement, there's no need for it. So it seems to me, I have less than 100 connections, but again, that's because I'm not really looking, and for what I'm in right now, it seems to be working fine. I think that if you're going to remove them, make sure that you don't use them for anything, or they don't use you for anything. I don't think it's a bad idea to take them out, because like I said, when I first started too, I connected with everybody. If they requested me, I said, oh, absolutely. So now I'm being more selective in figuring out, is this going to be a mutually beneficial relationship? Or is it better to, if they're like friends or something like that, or family that you're connecting on LinkedIn, maybe it's better to connect with them on Facebook or Twitter or a different outlet as opposed to using it for your LinkedIn, because LinkedIn should be strictly business, and finding out about things business related. And, you might be able to find them in different things like groups and that sort of thing, and that might be where you're better suited to connecting with those people as opposed to keeping them in your connections list. Okay. So the question is, my consumer base consists of brides, individuals that want to plan events to celebrate their life's milestones, and small businesses that want to host an event to promote themselves. Should I just target these small business owners in LinkedIn, especially on my company page? So I think that in terms of targeting people on LinkedIn, the way that it seems to work best is you can't you can't rely solely on your company page. You need to look at your personal page as well, or your personal profile. I would recommend sticking with targeting small business owners, just because the individuals and the brides, that might be more of like where your Facebook comes into play. Because those small business owners, once you connect and build a relationship with them, that's where word of mouth comes in and pushing it off of LinkedIn onto other ways. So I think if you focus in initially on those small business owners, you might find that you have a really strong base of people that will support you in word of mouth and recommendations, and get those recommendations up on LinkedIn, and then have that collateral to go somewhere else. So I think the individuals and the brides could play out better on Facebook. And also, I'd recommend for something like that, because I myself are in a couple of these groups, but there are a ton of event planning and wedding groups that you can break down by demographics and location, and start becoming active in those. And you might just have people reaching out to you that are individuals and brides, and I would never turn them down, but they might reach out to you that way, as opposed to you searching those people out. So instead of, you know, pushing the message out, they're wanting to have it, they're reaching out to you for that. So I would definitely recommend to focus more on the small business owners rather than the individuals and that. The question is, how do you decline connections gracefully? So if you don't know the person, then I would reply and say, I'm sorry, have we met? You know, open it up that way, or take a look at their profile and see, should I have known them? Is it my fault that I don't remember them? And if that's not the case, then I would say, I'm sorry, I don't know you. If you could tell me more about yourself, it might end up that you do want to know them, and that it might work to your benefit to accept that connection. So I wouldn't shut it down instantly, and you can really tell from a person's profile. It takes 2 seconds to look at it. If they're trying to sell you something, then it might be just you decline. I mean, that they could just be a scammer. So go ahead and just decline. And I don't feel you need to waste time on saying, I'm declining you because, or something like that. If it's someone you've met and you just don't want to connect with them, that can get a little awkward. First think of why you wouldn't want to connect with them. If it's a valid reason, then maybe, I know this sounds procrastinating, but maybe just wait a week and see if anything grows after a week. If not, honestly, I would just decline, and if they come back and ask, well, why did you decline, then make sure you have a good reason, and be honest with them. But it's just like friending on Facebook. People don't know if you decline them. They don't get a notification saying that. But if they are looking to connect with you for business, and they are aware that they asked you, and they're, you know, they remember that they asked you, and they're like, oh, why didn't she accept me, or whatever, then just be prepared to have that question asked, you know, and be able to say, you know, I just feel like I have too many connections, or it's just not in line. I don't know if we could do business that well together, or I'm not sure how I can help you. Possibly put it back on yourself, saying, how can my business actually help you? And you might find that that leads to business. You know, saying, I just don't feel that what I have to offer is good for your business. And they might say, actually, I think it is. And then you just opened up a conversation. So be honest, and be aware that it could come back and say, they could come back and say, well, why not? And just have a really solid answer for that. But often I find if I've declined someone, 9 times out of 10 they don't actually notice, because if it was like a one-off meeting where we never said that we would connect, then it doesn't. Honestly, they don't notice as much. But if they personalize it, chances are they will notice. I hope that helped a little bit. So how easy is it to do a video for LinkedIn page? So Wendy, you just do it like a YouTube. It's a YouTube video that you embed. So it's not like you're creating the video through LinkedIn. You just add a video from your YouTube page or from YouTube somewhere. So it's pretty, I mean, it's just as difficult as doing a YouTube video. And I'm not sure how that would be for you if you've ever done them or not. Can you give good examples of how someone has showcased their personal and business page? So Susan, I'll go ahead and email you guys a couple of examples so I'm not moving around really quick on my computer screen here. But one I can keep him out. I can tell you right now. Her name is Marky Lemons, and I actually heard her present on her business, and it's a personal business basically. She is a speaker. She works in real estate and gives webinars and stuff like that, and she's really good at it. And you know, she has put her business on her LinkedIn and connects with everybody, has a lot of connections, and she, you know, leverages her profile as almost like her website because it is a service-based business that she has. So I'll email you what that looks like. I'll email you a couple of businesses that have done it really well. And, you know, like I showed you the PepsiCo one, they've done it well. Citi has done it well in the sense that they have a business page and they have multiple groups for different demographics. So, you know, but they also have the resources to be able to do that. So, yeah, I will definitely email you guys some. Okay, so one question is, how do you use LinkedIn when you are transitioning from one industry business to another, when your education experience is heavy with your previous interests and the new area of interest is not so well supported by your work experience? So I kind of think of this almost as the same goes for a resume, to make sure you do highlight what connections there are. And, you know, in your summary, you can explain what your past was, what your future is going to be, why you're doing it. You know, make it interesting. Your summary is, you write it, so make it as engaging as possible, make it as interesting as possible. And I would also recommend approaching other people maybe you're in the new area of interest that are experts in it, you know, and joining the groups, because you can see, usually, unless they change the setting on their own profile, but you can see what other groups people are in. So see what groups they're in and see if you should be following those conversations, because that might help you get a better understanding of the new industry and help you interact with people in the new industry, because it's showing them that you actually are interested, and you might not have the experience, but at least you are interested, and that is something huge, you know, because if you're passionate about it, then people take you more seriously. And I would also not belittle what your past experience is, because that shows that you were dedicated to that industry, and that you took from it some really valuable tools in your business sense. So that's what I would recommend, to definitely showcase what you have and to expand on it and what you want in the future in your summary, and get engaged in groups in the new industry immediately and actually start discussions. You can ask questions on there. That's fine. I mean, if you don't know, ask, and people are happy to help and happy to give their expertise. Okay, so how is it best to approach a potential client if you don't have a relationship? So, like I said, if you're in groups, that's a good way to start conversations. Answering questions, that sort of thing, because I've answered questions for people I don't know who they are, and I've also guided them to different things that we offer. And I think if you're a different way to do that too is to use the search, find people that you would be interested in doing business with, and you can send a connection and you can customize what that connection says and say, this is why I'm reaching out to you. And you know, I've researched your business, I've researched you, I think that we could possibly do business together. And don't be afraid of people saying no. I mean, I think most of you are business owners, so you are used to hearing the word no and hopefully yes. So I think if you are prepared that that could be an option, just think about that, and really that initial connection, that sending the connection email saying to join my network, really use that space to say, this is why I'm contacting you, you know, and put your contact information besides your LinkedIn profile, put your email, put your phone number, and just make sure you proofread it, that it makes sense to you, and that it's kind of like your elevator pitch, you know, in a brief amount of space. So I definitely recommend personalizing. I definitely recommend, again, looking at different groups that potential client might be in and engaging in those, because they might find you, they might seek you out. That's the nice thing about LinkedIn and social media in general, is if your name's out there a lot and in the right places, people will find you as opposed to you having to seek them out. So that's what I would recommend. Besides job postings, what would you suggest posting on your company page? So I guess it depends. It's kind of like posting on Facebook, but again, more business oriented. So we posted different business events that we have. People post articles that they write, as long as they're relevant to their business. So you can post a lot of different things, but I'd recommend if you do use a Facebook page to write something different than what you are posting on your Facebook page. And then just pictures, videos, everything that relates to your business for sure. So that's pretty much it, I think, and things that are shareable. And the great thing too about LinkedIn is that you can see the engagement rates. So you see how engaged people are with what your business is. So coming up with that content, again, you don't have to write all the content. You can find the content in various different groups. You can find it in different blogs, anything like that. So that's what I would recommend. Okay, so the question is there a difference between linking with someone under your personal account versus business? If you link under personal, do they automatically see your business page? So you link only through your personal. The business pages get followers, kind of like Facebook. You can't make people follow your business page. You want to draw them from your personal to your business, or as you keep updating your business page, more people will follow because they'll see that you are actually giving some relevant information. And you do this through having the information on your personal page so people can see that this is your business. And also, pretty much whenever your name shows up, it'll show your current title, which would obviously be at your current business. So they can click on that and see the page. And you don't want to have a dead page when they see that. You want to have a page that has a lot going on, a lot of updates, and if you have the time to break down the products and services, that's really, really good because, like I said, people can review those products and services and say that they're really good products and services. So it's always really nice to have a robust business page, so when people do come from your personal, that's a big part of it. And that's the thing about LinkedIn is that it is personal, but it's also very business oriented, and it's online networking. That's what it is connecting with people online. Okay, so the question is, what if you have multiple businesses? How would you approach via LinkedIn? So you can have multiple businesses. On your personal profile, you can have multiple current positions, which is where your businesses would be listed. In terms of creating business pages for them, I guess I would look at who are they doing business with. And if if one of your businesses is doing business, this is a lot of businesses, so if your one business is B2B and your other business is B2C, you might not want to have your B2C, you might not have the time, and you might not want to spend the time to do that on LinkedIn. But you still would list it on your personal page. So you would say, for instance, I am a marketing assistant here as well as a social media freelance person at the same time. Both those things would be on my personal profile so people could see that this is what I specialize in and this is what I'm doing. But I only update the business page for WBDC. So I only spend time on that business page. I don't even bother creating a business page for my other one, my other service, because it's just irrelevant. So that's how I would look at it. And you also have to think about, and this goes for all social media platforms, how much time do you have, really? I think a lot of businesses get overwhelmed by the amount of social media out there, and I think they can be on every single platform, and that's just not true. So if you focus on one or two or three that you can do really well, then do that. And so if there's one business that you kind of, I would say, choose between the 2 or 3 that would work best for that, and that would work best on LinkedIn, which kind of answers the next question of having a Facebook business page, and now you would have a LinkedIn business page. How do they differ? B2B and B2C, that's how they differ. B2B on LinkedIn, B2C on Facebook. Facebook is much more visual, much more connectivity with your actual consumer, whereas LinkedIn is much more doing business with businesses. So if you are selling a product directly to a business or a service consulting to a business, then that's how you would do that. If you know people personally that are friends, family, past clients, you might want them on your Facebook page more often than not because they would see you more often. People, it's a fact that people are on. There are more people on Facebook than there are on LinkedIn, but there are more businesses on LinkedIn and people working on LinkedIn. So I guess it just depends who your target market is. If you're looking to do work with corporations and companies as opposed to people, individuals, then that's what you need to post on your LinkedIn page, and that's what you need for your business page on LinkedIn. And just be aware of that there might be different messages that you're putting out to two different platforms. So, we have two pages. We have one on LinkedIn and one on Facebook. And to be honest, the one on LinkedIn gets a little neglected sometimes because we spend a lot of time on Facebook. And it seems to be that our market is on Facebook a lot more. But our LinkedIn, lets other companies know that we are out there and that we can help you. Any other questions? Let me make sure I answered all of them. And like I do with all the webinars, I will also send you a couple different links to other social media sites that can that are there to help you with what do you post, more expansion on that, like Social Media Examiner and Marketing Profs and that sort of thing. Okay, well, if you come up with any questions later on down the road, feel free to email me. My email's right there. And you should be getting an email from me later today in regards to the survey and giving you more information. And our next webinar is on November 28th, and you can always look at our Facebook, our blog, and our Twitter for updates, and go to our website, wbdc.org, to find out more events coming up. If you're not familiar with us, we do have a wine and cheese event coming up on December 5th, which is an in-person where you come and you learn about all the services that we have to offer here for you as business owners. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and everybody have a great day.